Alright, boys and girls, welcome back to the drive-thru. Sponsored as always by the deli. Hungry? Stop by the deli. Get yourself a dolphin sandwich. Alright. You're not supposed to eat dolphin? Because it's a mammal? I eat cows. I would probably eat a dolphin, especially during desperate times. And I would think it would probably taste pretty good. Not to be confused with a dolphin fish, which is another name for a mahi, which is a delicious fish. Alright, glad we had that conversation. Hope you're still tuned in. This is a fast lesson, types of triangles. Okay? You can classify, there's some calculus students that actually didn't know these facts. You can classify triangles by their sides and by their angles. There's three ways to classify triangles by their sides. The scalene is the one everybody always forgets. That's just some ordinary, regular old triangle. Okay? Then you got the isosceles triangle, and that's a triangle. Now look, this is what you're going to all get wrong on the next test. That's a triangle that has at least two congruent sides. At least. That's the definition we go with. Okay? And then you got an equilateral triangle, and that is a triangle with all sides congruent. Okay, so here I want you to do something right now. Everybody draw a triangle. Draw a triangle right now. Draw a triangle. Wherever you sit, draw a triangle. I want you to know that 97% of people just drew an isosceles triangle. That's in our human nature. It is in our human nature to draw an isosceles triangle. That's how most of us envision a triangle, even though it's not very likely that a triangle is isosceles. Alright, next slide, please. It's a goofy video. You can also classify triangles by their angles. So an acute triangle is a triangle with three acute angles. An obtuse triangle is a triangle with one obtuse angle. One, of course one. If you had more than one, it wouldn't make a triangle, right? And then one right angle determines a right triangle. An equiangular triangle is a triangle whose angles are all congruent. An equiangular triangle is a type of acute triangle. Next slide. Alright. So, an equiangular triangle is also equilateral triangle. So from here on out in this class, we will refer to equiangular triangles and equilateral triangles the same way. So if we say that a triangle is equiangular, we are also saying that it's equilateral. So you might have to remember that as we move forward in proofs. The lecture is over, so I've ended the lesson with 6 chances to practice your always, sometimes, never. I encourage you to pause the video right now and do these. You guys stink at these. But that's okay. It's good practice. This is practice for our logical development. Alright, equilateral triangles are obtuse. That was a meatball. Never. An equilateral triangle has 60-degree angles, and a 60-degree angle can never be obtuse. Isosceles triangles are equilateral. Well, can I think of an isosceles triangle that is not equilateral? I can. Does an equilateral triangle meet the definition for isosceles? Well, let's go back and look. An isosceles triangle is a triangle with, big bold, at least two sides. So, I ask myself, does this triangle have at least two congruent sides? Yes, it does. Does this triangle have at least two congruent sides? Yes, it does. Since we have one example that is equilateral, and one that is not equilateral, then we have a case that is sometimes true. Obtuse triangles are right. Can you have a triangle that has a 90-degree angle in it that also has a 90-degree or a larger than 90-degree angle? No. That's another never. Acute triangles are equilateral. This is the one where a lot of people would say always, because in their heads they read it backwards. This is sometimes true. Here, is an acute triangle that is not equilateral, but it is acute. So it meets the if part. And then here is a triangle that is equilateral and is acute, and that's how we get to sometimes. We have one example that works and one example that doesn't. Right triangles are isosceles. Well, here's a right triangle, and that's not isosceles. But if I drew a square and bisected it diagonally, that right triangle is isosceles. So we got another sometimes. What a negative bunch of examples. Do we have no always? Oh, okay, good. Equiangular triangles are equilateral. That was our fun fact of the day. That is always. Can I get a boom, people?